welcome back for a brand new Q&A video. All of these questions in this video come from the Patreon campaign, so if you want one of your questions answered here, just head on over to the Patreon page. You can find a link in the description section of this video, and it's got all the instructions over there on what you need to do. We've got 4 questions to hit today, and the very first one is coming from Evan. Evan asks, do you ever get annoyed whenever people in movies and TV shows are at the movie theater and proceed to talk over the movie? For example, Whiplash, when Miles Teller is chatting with his dad about his career aspirations while watching a movie, and Cobra Kai, when Aisha is chatting with Miguel. I'm really surprised I hadn't thought about this even more often, because I'm someone who, whether it's on screen or in real life, it just drives me insane when somebody talks during a movie or a TV show even, and the person above all else who knows that very well in my life is my sister Lonnie, who you guys met in one of my vlogs. Yeah, even if she watches this, I'm not ashamed to put it out there. I know you talk during shows and movies, and you know it drives me off my mind. But the first example of this that came to my mind for some reason, because it's also a movie I love and I watch over and over, is Pitch Perfect, when Skylar Astin's character is showing Anna Kendrick's character The Breakfast Club, and you know, he wants her to love it just as much as he does, and then he's talking over the whole thing, and how can that not ruin it for somebody? And then finally, later in the movie, when she watches it by herself, and he's not sitting there talking about it, that's when she falls for it like he does. But then I started to think about other instances where talking over a movie actually works, and I think one of my favorite examples, this is probably no surprise, is Randy talking over Halloween in Scream. Yeah, it's a party scene. I don't really expect any of those kids who are drinking to give the movie and its legacy the respect it deserves, but that's the great thing about Randy, is even when they're all dismissing the kills, the color of the blood, he's there to respect the legacy and how important Jamie Lee Curtis is to that franchise, to horror movies overall, particularly the slasher genre. And then on top of that, that moment enhances the meta quality of Scream, where his rules to surviving a horror movie are so well woven into that moment. So I think that's an instance where talking over a movie works really, really well. And you know, if I were living in that scene, and if I were living in the movie Scream, I would hope someone like Randy would stand up and give me the rules to surviving a horror movie. Now we're moving on to question number 2, and this one comes from Ryan. Ryan also has a slasher movie question. Ryan is asking, if this Halloween movie makes over $100 million overall at the box office, should they make a sequel or just let the mystery of Michael Myers run wild in people's imagination? Personally, yeah, I think the Halloween film franchise, and Michael Myers specifically as a character, works best when there is an air of mystery to him, when he is just this shape, this force that you don't really have a clear understanding of what is driving him to kill. That's when he's scariest. So part of me wouldn't really mind if they just cut it off here, because you guys know how much I like that movie, if they just stopped it right there, left it as is, and that mystery continued. But of course, we need to recognize the fact that this is a business here, and Blumhouse has an absolutely genius business model. So we know that when Blumhouse makes movies, they tend to go with small budgets and then they make a ton of money. And I think that's what's going to happen with this new Halloween movie. It's got a reported production budget of $10 million. Right now, it's on track to make $60 million opening weekend. That means it could go on to make something like $150 million just domestic. That is a lot of money that would go in the bank for Blumhouse. That is really a huge profit margin there. And if they make that kind of money, and also when you consider the fact that Blumhouse is a studio that does have a habit of turning successful first movies into successful sequels and franchises, so they will likely continue what they started with this new David Gordon Green movie. And speaking of David Gordon Green, I told you guys I recently had the opportunity to talk to him. There are a lot of spoilers in that interview, so you're going to have to wait until closer to release to actually listen to that chat, a chat that I believe you're going to be able to find in podcast form on the Collider Factory feed. But I'll tell you that during that interview, he did tease that they have ideas for sequels. So if the ideas are there, if the money is there, I think they're going to make another Halloween movie. And even though I want to maintain the mystery with Michael Myers, after what I saw in this new Halloween movie, in this creative team, I trust. It looks to me like they really respect the legacy. And if they decide to take that risk and continue what they just started in this one, I think they're going to do it with the best intention. So if they make that decision, all the power to them. I love this movie. I highly recommend you guys seeing it and then telling me what you think about it. Now it is time for question number 3, and this one comes from Michael, who asks, what movies are you most looking forward to seeing for the rest of this year? So I was lucky enough to get to see some of my most anticipated movies of the rest of 2018 at TIFF recently. So I'll just jump right in there and recommend some to you that I already got the chance to see. And one would definitely be Halloween. Clearly, I loved that movie. If you guys saw my review, I gave it an A-. I think it might be my favorite horror movie of 2018. I can't get enough of it. Even though I've seen it twice, I'm dying to see it again. And I'm really dying for all of you to see it because I can't wait until we could start talking about it. Also from TIFF, A Star is Born and First Man. You guys know how much I love La La Land, so it was so exciting to see Damien Chazelle step in, do something different than he had done previously with La La Land and Whiplash, and just knock it out of the park with First Man. And A Star is Born, oh, that's a movie that really got me. That really tugs on the heartstrings in the best possible way. I was actually just looking at the interview that I did with Lady Gaga and Bradley Cooper in Toronto, because actually, as I'm recording this video right now, that video is probably going live on Collider Quick, so check that out when you have a chance. But I always appreciate the opportunity to sit down with any filmmaker because, above all else, what I love doing is talking to people about the movies they made. I really can't get enough of it, but it's a special thing when you get to talk to the filmmakers behind a movie that is going to be one of your favorite movies of the year, and especially a movie that moved you as much as A Star is Born moved me. So that opportunity was really, really special, and I think that movie is going to hit a lot of people in a really strong way when it hits theaters this weekend. But as for movies that I haven't seen yet, it's another one that premiered at TIFF, and sadly it was one that I didn't catch, but the buzz is so strong with this, and everybody loved it so much, and it got the audience award. So really, I was mad at myself that I never made time for it while I was in Toronto, but now I'm just counting down the seconds until I can see it myself. And it's Green Book. That one really just sounds like it came out of nowhere, and I can't wait to see it. And then one that wasn't on the festival circuit that I'm really excited for because I liked the first movie so much is Ralph Breaks the Internet. I just love the idea of where they're taking things with that sequel. And also, you've probably heard me say this before, but that princess scene, all you needed was that still image. Before I'd even seen any footage from that scene, just that image had me sold and so excited. Anybody who loves even just a single Disney princess is going to see something like that and need this movie. And I am certainly in that boat. And I can't wait to see how that scene plays within the full feature. So I am counting down to that one as well. You know, why don't you guys hit the comment section? I'm really curious to hear what you are most looking forward to the rest of the year. So put those titles in the comment section below. Now we've got one more question to hit, and this is a question from Kavi. Kavi is asking, do you like pina coladas? Kidding. Who would you rather see play Batman, Oscar Isaac or Jake Gyllenhaal? Both have been rumored for the role. Well, first of all, pina coladas are fine, but I'm definitely more of a strawberry daiquiri person. Now that we've gotten that taken care of, Batman. So Oscar Isaac, Jake Gyllenhaal, both phenomenal actors. Jake Gyllenhaal, I just saw in The Sisters Brothers. You know, I love him in Nightcrawler. I can go on and on about Jake Gyllenhaal movies where I think he is exceptional. Let's throw Stronger in there too. He's also fantastic in Stronger. The thing is, when I consider Jake Gyllenhaal right now, I guess my logic brain kicks in a little, and knowing he has a role in Spider-Man Far From Home makes me think that it's not going to be possible for him to do a DC movie as well. So if I take him out of the equation, that leaves me with Oscar Isaac if I'm just looking at these two options. And it's not like I'm going with my second choice here. I also think Oscar Isaac would be a phenomenal Batman. He has so many incredible films on his resume right now. And just to throw out a few if you haven't seen it, because I know some of you have seen Annihilation this year. He was great in Operation Finale, even though I didn't love that movie overall. But if you haven't seen A Most Violent Year, which I think got really overlooked the year it came out, also Inside Llewyn Davis, which I guess was kind of his breakout role, he is excellent in that. And also, just for the singing sequence that plays over the end credits, You gotta check him out in Sucker Punch. I love that. But if they announce tomorrow that Oscar Isaac is the new Batman, I think I'll be pretty satisfied with that answer. But just to throw out a couple other names that have crossed my mind recently, and, you know, ones that may be lesser known or still kind of on the rise, I like the idea of Jack Reynor taking the role. He has really stuck out to me in a number of movies he's been in recently, like Sing Street and Free Fire. Also Trevante Rhodes. So Trevante Rhodes, you probably know him from Moonlight. He was also just in Predator, and while you guys know I didn't really love Predator all that much, I did like some of the performances, and in particular, Rhodes really popped. He had a lot of charisma, and I can't wait to see where his career takes him, because I do think that he is another one that is going to wind up becoming a household name very, very soon. And another one I'll throw on this list who's been working very steadily for a long, long time now is Jonathan Tucker. We know he can nail the physicality of the role thanks to a show like Kingdom. He did solid work in the recent season of Westworld, and also, this is random, but I have a major soft spot for the movie The Ruins, and he's great in that as well. So just 3 names there I want to put on your radar. Who knows what's going to happen? I do hope we get an update on this really soon, because it feels like we've been talking about this Matt Reeves Batman movie for so long now. But that's it. That's the last question I've got for this Q&A video. I hope you guys enjoy it. Thanks so much to Kavi, Michael, Ryan, and Evan for sending these questions in. Always so thoughtful. Thanks to everybody out there who's watching this video. Don't forget to like and share it, and I will see you next month for another Q&A video.